So, having that preface, Kyle, would you like to
Yeah.
start with the, oh, you know what I do wanna start with is a reading, if I can find that, just so that we're very clear of what the capital grants are meant for.
You want this, Madam Chairman?
No.
That is,
it's-
remember you printed out something
Oh, I got
earlier and
it.
you highlighted it?
Yeah, here it is, I've got it.
Okay.
All right, so just so this is in the record, and I'll hand this to you, Judy. And it says, guidelines for expenditure of capital improvement project funding. Funds will be awarded to nonprofit organizations to develop projects that provide capital improvements to facilities, indoor or outdoor, including but not limited to swimming facilities, theaters, museums, trailheads, parks, fairgrounds, historic buildings, common areas, and public art in White Pine County in accordance to NRS 244A-597. And the purpose is to stimulate the economic engine of tourism by investing in facilities and assets that have a proven benefit to tourism opportunities. So I think those are quite the operative words,
Yeah.
is we really want them linked with tourism.
So what my suggestion would be for the sake of time, we'll go through each one of these, and if we feel like one of the proposals does not fall within those guidelines, I would recommend just doing that one's eligible for funding, and we'll make a pile of ones that are eligible for funding, ones that are a pile that are not eligible for funding, and then we can just discuss the merits of the ones that fall within the guidelines for funding. And I think that might speed up the process. So, I will kind of give a quick rundown of what these are, unless it's a grant that pertains directly with the city or something, a group that we're connected with. So the first one is Great Basin National Park Foundation, and this is for relay towers, and essentially, when you get above a certain elevation in Great Basin National Park, there's no more radio service. And so with the influx of visitors to the national park, they've been seeing a lot more rescues of people who are not very familiar with the outdoors, thinking that it's a piece of cake to go hike up in the mountains, and next thing you know, they're lost. And so what this proposal is for is bringing radio service, and I don't mean like FM radio service, I mean like walkie-talkie and search and rescue service, all the way up to the top of Wheeler Peak, and it would essentially span the entire national park. So if you think that this does fall into line and we should discuss its merits,
Yes.
then, okay, then put it into funding. Steptoe Valley Trap Skeet and Target. This is a group that does put on multiple events. Oh, shoot, and you know what, mine's all out of order from me going through these earlier.
I think you know about a second one, so.
Yeah, we could probably just read it off that. So the White Pine Chamber of Commerce is a storage container. In the back, I don't think this falls within what we were talking about. I don't think a storage container has tourism value. But I do know that we could certainly help the chamber clean up the 2 storage units that they have, and we have offered the Connex building that we have back here as storage for them, which they have taken. So this one I have a hard time recommending for funding, unless somebody has.
No.
Okay. The next one is Steptoe Valley Trap Skeet and Target. And so this one is for a wireless release system. I've got experience with this one in Carson City, where they had a number of shooting events. The difference was between a shooter walking up to this wireless system and saying pull and having the machine automatically shoot it versus what our trap club has is a volunteer sitting there with a trigger. Somebody says pull, they hit the button, goes to the machine, then it goes. So with the amount of events that the Trap Skeet and Target does, both adults and juniors, would there be any objection to this going in the funding pile?
Funding pile.
Okay. The next one, Ely Renaissance Society Kitchen Phase 4. And so this is for finishing the commercial kitchen that is used for events that are brought to White Pine County at the facility of the Renaissance Village. This is not them trying to get into the restaurant game. This is more for when caterers come in for dinners, fundraisers, reunions, tours, gatherings, weddings, things like that. That is what they're asking for. So,
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Oh,
So the next one, the Bristlecone Bowmen, and this is our archery group. They are looking for improvements to their indoor range. They're looking for backstops and sliding target stands and things like that so that they can do more indoor shooting in the wintertime. I've talked with Mitch, and the goal is to create a facility where they can host events in the wintertime, the same as they do with the 3D archery shoot in the summertime. So I feel like we really need to diversify into some winter activities, and this one I feel like is worth discussing the merits of further. The Lund Rodeo, do I have the next one? Okay, Lund Rodeo Association, this is for fence replacing. So this is essentially exactly how it reads in our thing. It's for facilities, that are gonna be included in the Lund Rodeo. When looking at them, it's the same as our city corral. There's a couple of them that just have metal shards sticking out from stuff like that. So I would recommend this one for some funding. You have the White Pine Main Street Association on behalf of the city of Baker. Downtown, their farmers market has gotten quite a bit of state recognition. A lot of people from out of town attend their farmers market, and what they're requesting is brochure racks that they could put out to have all of our material right there at the thing. Right now what they do is they lay them out on the table and they put rocks on. And so they're looking for brochure racks and I believe some shade umbrellas. Pretty small amount I would recommend in the funding pile. The White Pine Public Museum has put in for facade improvement and door replacement. We are in it with the museum. They've got a line item. We try to support them as much as possible. The facade improvement is an idea that we have suggested to them multiple times. Hey, can you clean up the front of your building? And so while I think 10,000 is quite a bit for what I'm thinking of, we can at least discuss and see where we're at, to see if this is something that we have money to help out a little bit. The city of Ely is proposing to building a retaining wall and doing concrete work outside the newly renovated park bathrooms, which we did fund, the improvement of those. Did you have anything? Before I go on and steal your thunder, Kurt.
No, that's fine. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
It's a fairly small project. They're just trying to bring up a little bit of sidewalk to ADA compliance and build a retaining wall up behind the restrooms there. So
Okay.
just kind of ties in with the bathrooms, and we're just trying to do a little at a time to host more events.
Okay. Okay. Well, since I think this is a project that we funded, seeing it through the next phase would be a good one. The next one is Nevada Northern Railway. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay, Nevada Northern Railway. Mark is wanting to get a fleet of electric pedal assist train bicycles. I don't know if that's or rail car or e-rail bikes. Carson City, the V&T Railroad just got a bunch of these, and following their lead, they're really, really popular. Probably more popular than riding the train. They make 2-person cars, they make 4-person cars. I think if we're trying to do volume, if we're gonna lean towards any of these, the 4-person car is where I'm more interested in. This proposal was also made in the outdoor recreation one as well. So you're gonna see this twice. Mark really wants some rail cars. So I think maybe not a fully funded type thing, but certainly has merit, and we should look at it. Let's see, the White Pine Golf Course is next. I was really hoping that we weren't gonna be put in a position with a $43,000 ask when we only have $60,000 to award in the entire grant. With the county room tax increase, that really only equated to an additional, maybe $5,000 a year for the golf course. So I mean, you look, we give about $16,000 in room tax distribution to the golf course annually, and that's it. That's the only money that they do get from room tax, except for these grants. What they're wanting is new sprinkler heads, mowers. You name it, they're asking for it. So I think we just have to have a discussion on what is feasible to fund for these, because $43,000 is just, it's not possible. The White Pine Corral Association, arena fencing, Ken's done a great job cleaning that place up. We were down there looking at the fence before this proposal was even made. They were like, help us, what do we do? This is a safety issue more than anything else, because there's rusty sharp metal exposed to the horses and the kids that are going through. Okay, now we get into White Pine County's proposals. I think I have to agree with the comment that was made earlier. It's hard to find tourism value in some of these. And so the first one is the Justice Center mural. This was a proposal, okay, so the proposal is they want to paint a mural on the rooftop of an awning that can only be seen when you're on the second floor looking out the window if you're waiting for court. This proposal was submitted to Great Basin Heritage Area. It was denied. The proposal was submitted to us through aid to organization. It was denied, both on it not really being that solid of a tourism idea, and then when we reached out to artists, there wasn't a single artist who was interested in painting a mural in a spot where it wasn't going to be seen unless you were waiting for court. So I don't recommend this one for funding. I think, you know, as much as we want to work with the county and make things happen, that's not under the guidelines of this grant.
Tell them to put up a gallows, that'll draw attention.
So the next one is the 4-H FFA show arena shade.
Comes twice.
And so that shows up twice. They've also applied for this exact same grant, exact same wording in outdoor recreation. This, if you look at it, this is a $50,000 project that they're trying to get $18,000 out of capital and $18,000 out of outdoor rec to try to do this. I know the fairgrounds were included in the SNPLMA grant. And so without that being an issue, to be honest with you, where I have a hard time with this one is they're not looking to do work until next year. And therefore, if we were to give $18,000, it wouldn't affect the horse races this year, it wouldn't affect the fair this year. I think there's projects that have more of an immediate benefit to the community. Whereas, you know, if they were saying, hey, we can put this thing up tomorrow if you award us the money, it would have different meaning. You know, so not recommending that one. The next one is the McGilltown high definition security cameras, and full disclosure, that's why I asked you about your pool pack program for stuff like that, because as you were reading off what it was eligible for, this is what I thought of. And so I know the county is a member of Pool Pack. I have a meeting with them on Thursday. I will suggest to them that if they're looking for security cameras, that your grant program is more of an option than our tourism related grant
And
program.
they have to have their application in, the next grant awarding meeting is September 1st, so they
Okay.
gotta get it in the next month or so.
Okay, perfect.
It's all written up.
In duplicate, you can just take this one.
Yeah.
And then the final one is the McGill LED street conversion phase. Again, this is not tourism related. We're painting murals in McGill, we're helping with the ball fields. These are the things that I want to help McGill with. LED lighting, it sounds more like a COVID relief money, you know, something in regards to that. So I can't rationalize that one. Okay, so what we have is a pile now that we can kind of talk through and do some calculations. So the Great Basin National Park Foundation, their security thing. Any discussion on ideas on that one?
Yes, knowing what I do about Great Basin National Park now, it's about 150,000 visitors a year.
Ian's now on.
And with that, there's huge problem this last year with newbies not knowing how to put up a tent, much less go hiking, and they don't have any way for search and rescue without these radios. So I think it's very tourism related in the sense that we're offering a safety feature. And so they're not a Pool Pack client, they're a federal, you know, but it's the foundation that runs this. And I looked at the grant application, and it's a $30,000 project, and they're asking us for 10.
Mm-hmm.
So on this last year, they came in under what they had said they were going to do, and they're very judicious. So I would recommend the $10,000 for them.
I agree with that also.
So we're down to 50.
All right. Harold, do you want to go ahead and just make notes of what we're saying here, just so we can come back and you can confirm that, so we've got another check. Okay, so the next one that was debate, or is gonna be debated is the Trap Skeet and Target proposal for the wireless release system. You know, they also apply in outdoor recreation for security cameras and things like that, which I don't feel fall in line. We'll talk about that one in a lot, but if we were not to fund that one, I would almost recommend fully funding this one. It comes in as just under $8,000, and I know they've got at least 6 events that are on the calendar that are coming up, both adult and junior shoots. So I would recommend the 7935 for the Steptoe Valley. The Ely Renaissance Society kitchen.
So I know about this one in the sense that, again, they're not in business with anybody, but they have all of these events that are catered out of there. And for the food, for Renee in food safety, they needed to redo the kitchen and make it more accessible and up to code. And so, again, their events are just bringing in lots of different people from out of town.
So did Renee say that they would not be allowed to do food-related events up there if they did not get this?
I do not know. She's worked with them as far as the kitchen, but all of that food safety and all of, they only use caterers as far as these big events. Our list of caterers, and I think pretty much everybody caters up there. But this would be the end, and this is the first time they've asked for funding on it, and they found funding and donations for the rest of it, so.
Okay.
And it essentially doubled it, but it's becoming more of a full event center, and several weddings, everything up there, so I would recommend that, and it's under 6,000.
I agree with that.
Okay, so the recommendations for 5985 for that one. Okay, this next one is Bristlecone Bowman for their improvements to the indoors. Now, eight's a little above. We usually have a little bit of debate with that one. Again, with needing to diversify into wintertime events, would there be any objection to where we could let's start with the $5,000 partial funding and see what we have at the very end and just go with that?
I think that's
Is
a good
that-
idea.
So are you keeping a running total for us?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, and with that, the $5,000, looking at it, they're gonna be able to get their targets, their backstop netting, and things like that. So it's not like a partial funding would kill the project. Okay, the Lund Rodeo Association, for fencing, I think because we had 2 proposals submitted for fencing in rodeo arenas, the City Corrals and the Lund Rodeo, that both kind of came in around the same. Would there be any objection to starting with a partial funding of $5,000 for each of those? And again, there's gonna be some debate. Once Errol gives us the tally, then we're gonna know how much
Yeah.
money we have left or not. So I think these are good starting points.
And these are certainly not one, we have not, to my knowledge, invested in the capital for the Lund or the Corrals before.
Correct.
So, that would, I think that it's a good turn, and they don't have a lot of other funding sources.
No, and again, what they're looking for is, 30 new panels. This is something that's scalable up and down. So if it's partial funding, it's 15 panels,
Yep.
as opposed to 30, and any little bit helps. The White Pine Main Street for the brochures and the umbrella,
Excuse me, was that 5,000?
5,000, yes. So this is direct fully funding. The amount of people that are coming through Baker, it's nice to have our brochures out there. White Pine Public Museum facade painting and doors. So the one where I had the issue with the $10,000 ask is there was a door upgrade that apparently, and I've seen it, has essentially deteriorated and is falling off the hinges in the back. And this would be the way that people would enter the backyard, essentially. They're looking for a door upgrade for 2478. But they're thinking that the mural artist is gonna be about $7,000. That's heavily overestimated, and so with the mural artists that we've been working for, what they're proposing is a solid color and essentially a timeline of world history, US history, White Pine history, all along the front. I don't think that's a $7,000 job, you know, so, personally, I think we could start at $4,000 with that one. Just kind of knowing what we know,
Basically, I drove by it today and took a look at it, and it would have to be pressure washed, they've let it go, where it's really peeling and unsightly, but it, you know, definitely needs White Pine, Museum on it, that's the lettering it definitely needs, so that announcement, so you're recommending we start at 4 then?
let's start at 4 with that one.
Okay. And again, the museum receives funding,
They do, so they, you know, and we also, helped them with the grant from Great Basin Heritage Area for like the ping pong train design and things like that, so, and they did get some COVID relief money. The next one is the City of Ely for retaining wall, and concrete work. I mean, I think the quote has pretty much come in at like the bare bones, there's not really any fat on this one.
Right. and
So
They're gonna supply the labor too, just materials is all we're paying for, so.
Totally, so I would say, recommended for funding of $5,082.
that's going to be a big help.
Mhm.
Okay, the next one is the train, and so these are the, electric pedal assist e-rail bikes. And essentially what it looks like is a rail car, you know, so it's 4 wheels on it, there's 4 seats, and then there's bicycle pedals, so it's kinda like one of those like swan pedal boats in the pond that you know, get in Times Square or whatever, or not Times Square, Central Park. So what he's looking for is two-person ones in this one, and then in the other grant, he's looking for 2 4-person rail bikes. A 2-person rail bike looks like it comes in right at $7,200 each. A 4-person one looks like it comes in at about $8,600 each. So I'm thinking like doing the math with match, you know, the 20% match and everything like that. I'm almost recommending we do a 4-person rail bike in this one and a 4-person rail bike in the other one,
Yeah.
and kind of spread the impact a little bit. And so that would be $6,000 that we would be awarding, and then his 20% match would be the $8,000 for the bike. So, 6,000, and that would cover 1 4-person rail e-bike. Okay, the golf course, 43-2. Help, I don't even know where to begin with this one, man.
0.
My only thing that I could say to consider, you know, is that our outdoor recreation has 55,000 to award in it. We only had 51,000 in requests in outdoor recreation. So if we get to the point where we're over in what we're awarding, we might be able to move this over and pair the 2 golf course grant proposals together in outdoor recreation, as an option. The other option is we look at this, you know, we're looking at, you know, sprinkler heads at $200 each, he wants 40 of them. You know, we could do like we did with the Crowell Association and say, well, you only get 10 of them. You know, I'm looking for board direction on this one.
I say that we zero this out and then we can reconsider under outdoor. And there, obviously, great needs on both, and maybe they can determine, that advisory board can determine,
Okay.
if we give them a lump sum, what is the highest need?
So for that one, put 0 for now. White Pine Corral Association, we had said 5,000 for that one, just as a starting point. Oh, and this was the Chamber of Commerce, so we don't need that one. All right. Number, please.
Right now, I got 55,149.
1,149. Minus 55,149.
Yeah.
So we have $4,851 to go ahead and play with. So right now, what we're seeing is we've got fully funded for National Park, fully funded for Steptoe Valley, fully funded for Renaissance Society, fully funded for Main Street, fully funded City of Ely, and then everybody else is partially funded,
Or zeroed.
or zeroed.
Okay, so it looks like we've got the Bowman and the rodeo and
And the city corral,
and the city corral, is it just 3 of them?
yeah, just 3 of those.
So what if we did divided by 3? So 16, 17,
Okay,
if
So
we
what do we
added
wanna give?
1,600 to each of them?
let's do 1,600 on each of them, so that would bring the Bristlecone Bowman up to 6,600,
Right.
the Lund Rodeo Association up to 6,600, and the city corrals up to 6,600, and then we would have $51 left over to award someone else,
Who is your favorite out of these 3, or you just choose one?
or who needs the most help. I would say out of all of them, the museum. It's,
Okay, we'll give it to them then.
so 40, 51.
And so we had, okay, so 40, 51, add the $51.
Yep,
Okay, so to reiterate, we have 10,000 for Great Basin National Park, 0 for the Chamber, 79.35 for Trap and Skeet, 59.85 for Ely Renaissance Society, the Bowman at 6,600, the Lund Rodeo Association at 6,600, Main Street at 1,147, White Pine Public Museum, $4,051, City of Ely, $5,082, Nevada Northern Railway, $6,000. And the golf course, we're moving it to consideration at Outdoor Rec, the Corral Association, 6,600. So that should give us a 60,000.
yes.
And the 4 county ones have been zeroed out. And you will talk with them about the,
Yeah, so Ian, just to kind of give you an update on the county ones, these don't fall under the guidelines of the grants, and that was kind of where I wanted to go over, but we talked about it. I'm gonna get with Elizabeth and Tabitha on Thursday to discuss these grants in person, as well as like the SNPLMA grants and some of the other things too. But unfortunately, their proposals did not fall in line with the tourism guidelines for the capital improvements.
No problem.
Cool, sorry, I kind of wanted to discuss it with you earlier in the day, but we didn't get a chance to, so.
Oh, you know me better than that, man. I'm not tripping.
Right on, cool.
okay, so let's move to the outdoor recreation, and that, if I wanna go ahead and just read that, funding may be used for any and are all, and/or, a little typo there, all projects that improve or maintain an existing outdoor recreation facility. Fundable items may include but are not limited to supplies, materials, equipment, and a repair, salaries, wages, and utilities. Applicant must provide a project timeline proof of expenditures if your paperwork is not received in the required time, etc. Okay, so if you wanna start out with, we have just 2, 4, 6 of these.
Yes, so the first one is the Steptoe Valley Trap Skeet and Target. That is the security system, and so what that is it's a trip floodlight that the security cameras come on when the floodlight is tripped. And it's so that, you know, nobody's out on the trap range while nobody's there. We've denied the monitoring system for the county. It kind of doesn't fall in line, so that one to me is one of the ones that I'm like, all right, I don't know if we can recommend that one.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. The next one is for the Bristlecone Bowman, and this is for an outside archery lane that is up at the county shooting range. And so what it would be is a cemented in archery alley that would go down and essentially just be open for the local community to have an archery range.
Didn't it include a Connex too?
It also included a Connex
I'm
too.
not big on a Connex, so.
Okay. I think between the 2 of them that were submitted, the indoor range has way more of a tourism value, where this one has a little bit more of just a localized benefit. So yeah. The next one is the Nevada Northern Railway for the e-bike. Recommended funding $6,000. And so again, out of that funding of the Nevada Northern Railway, there would be 2 4-person electric pedal assist e-rail bikes.